each day. Here are some other examples of planet mandalas. The one in the upper right corner, when you watch it being drawn on the computer screen, it looks like it's spinning. So the point I'm making here is that there are fascinating patterns in the sky. People like Kurzweil believe that patterning is fundamental. People like Stephen Wolfram, celebrated physicist, believes that somehow biological evolution is not simply survival of the fittest, but there's some kind of an iterative loop that builds life forms. And what I'm suggesting is there seems to be a relationship of this to what Stephen Wolfram is talking about. These are new ideas. We're just scratching the surface, exploring what's going on in the sky. And the question is, are these beautiful patterns just a coincidence, or is Mother Nature more parsimonious than that, and having created these patterns to have some more, a larger effect than just the fascination of its beauty? We don't know yet. And I don't know how to relate this to human behavior at this point. But I wanted to share with you some of the areas of research and investigation where we take the idea that maybe there's a golden nugget, maybe there's something there. I do astrology regularly for over 40 years, and I think I'm seeing things. I don't think it's Barnum effect. I don't think it's wish fulfillment. I think I'm seeing things, and I'm trying to find out if I'm hallucinating or not, or if I'm really seeing it. People come up to me all the time and say, "Thank you for helping me 25 years ago. I don't even remember them." So I'm trying to come back to this in a more academically rigorous way to see what's going on. I don't think it's as simple as James Randi makes it out to be, the astrologers make it out to be, or the skeptics. There's some complexity going on here that's worthy of additional research. Now, it's already 10 minutes to 9, I'm supposed to wrap up at 9. I'm going to make 7 closing statements, and then we'll open this up to discussion, all right? Kind of synthesize and add a few new points. Number 1 of these 7 closing comments, and then we're ready for questions. Astrology is typically studied in universities only as a historical phenomenon. But, number 2, if astrology was studied more deeply, it would give us a better understanding of culture. I think sociologists really need to incorporate the study of this, because it's a form of mythology and paradigm building that's so powerfully influences human understanding. Also, I don't think it's proper to call astrology a superstition because of everything that I've explained. I'm just sort of summarizing here. I would prefer to say that astrology is a set of complex models that have not been validated. So it's currently not a science. And another thing I want to emphasize is the extraordinarily large number of detailed models. I'm going to show you something real quick on this. This is part of an interpretation based on Vedic astrology. Just to make it a little more concrete, the level of detail, this is just one tiny, tiny part of this astrological theory. You can read some of that. It talks about how if the ruler of a house is so many signs from the ruler of another house, and in the Varga charts, these Varga charts are ways of taking the chart and mathematically manipulating it. The calculations are very tedious and complex. Rob Hand, who's an expert in medieval astrology, says that even in the Middle Ages, it took the astrologer about 2 weeks to do the calculations for someone in royalty. And in Vedic astrology, it would have been longer than that. So anyway, it's a very complex set of rules. Number 3, researching astrology. Let's move beyond this culture thing. Is it worthwhile to do research in astrology? Or is it just a dead end and a waste of money and time and effort and get on with more important things? There are some benefits to researching astrology, even if positive results are not found. And one of these has already made a big effect. Astrologers today have less faith that astrology has objective validity than they did 50 years ago. In fact, the majority of leading astrologers think that astrology will never be proven. I've conducted seminars and focus groups and panels at major conferences, and consistently the majority of astrologers have given up that astrology can be validated objectively because the research is so negative. I don't agree with that. I think astrology can be validated. I've shared some of the kinds of research that I've done. But this has had a very positive effect sociologically because astrologers no longer tend to make the outrageous claims that are completely unfounded as often as they used to. So failing to get positive results can help control the negative effects of superficial astrology. Fourth point, whether the principles of astrology will be validated in the future or not is not known. And I think different points of view on this are reasonable. Number 5, some ideas in psychology are not proven but are still useful. And this may be true in astrology as well. And number 6, I just want to emphasize that astrologers should not be confused with astrology. Astrology is completely unregulated. One of the things I've said in the past is that you could say that your dog is an astrologer. You ask your dog a question, and if it barks once, it means yes. If it barks twice, it means no. And that there's nobody to stop that. There are no certifications, regulations, or standards in astrology. There are some voluntary ones that astrological organizations are beginning to implement. So astrologers often make absurd statements. That does not necessarily reflect on the nature of astrology. And lastly, I want to underscore the point that I think that academic rigor is number 1. And sometimes I'm very disappointed when I hear scientists talk about astrology. They seem to sometimes drop down to the level of astrologers by making some kinds of statements I've referred to before. We need to investigate things openly, clearly, peer review them. If we don't know a subject, what do we do in academia? We refer you to an expert, right? So I just think that this is always imperative. Okay, I have finished the presentation. I want to open the floor to any questions you have. We're getting near 9 o'clock. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop in about 5 or 10 minutes, and then I will stay after in case any of you continue to have questions. But I don't like people to feel obligated to stay past the time. So I'll officially say we're done in about 5 or 10 minutes, maybe a little after 9, and then I'll stay longer. Yeah, turn on the lights would be a good idea. We can see each other. Okay, questions? Yes. All right, thank you.